This is Burke. It's 12 days north of finished and a few degrees south of the finale. In this episode, Astrid's dragon Stormfly joins the LEGO MOC, we finish the Chief's home, and build a few exciting surprises to add a little more life to the island. We have a lot of progress to cover, and by the end of the episode, phase 1 of the MOC will be complete, so let's fly in and take a closer look at Burke. Another dragon from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise has finally taken up residence in Burke with Toothless, and that's Astrid's dragon partner Stormfly. Stormfly brings an exciting pop of bright blue color to the MOC, and it's very exciting to see her flying alongside Toothless. A dragon needs their rider, and don't worry, we'll get to building Astrid later in the video along with an entire population of Viking minifigures for the island of Burke. Stormfly will be the only other dragon from the How to Train Your Dragon movies that will be completed in the first phase of the MOC, but don't worry, I'm working hard on getting at least a Zippleback, Gronkle, Monstrous Nightmare, and Terrible Terror designed so they can be part of the entirely finished phase 2 version of the MOC alongside the Bewilderbeast. Since I won't have those dragons ready for the mid-series finale, I'll be adding extra dragons to Burke with these LEGO Ninjago sets from Dragons Rising. I love the design of the young dragon Ryu set. You've seen him pop up in previous episodes, and I think it's so fun to attach a baby Ryu to the dragon to look like a parent and its baby flying across the sky. To supplement the missing dragons from the franchise, I got 2 more young dragon Ryu sets I found on sale to put in the MOC, so let's get those built. With 3 Ryus built, here's a look at our full cast of dragons for the final phase 1 display. There's one last dragon here for the MOC, and wait, that's not a dragon, that's the Chief's home. After working on this build for 2 live streams and a lot behind the scenes, the Chief's Viking home is finished. The Viking homes on Burke have a bunch of sculptures and imagery of dragons, as well as lots of detailed accents in gold. To bring that to life in LEGO, I used golden leaf elements to add a patterned texture to the front of the building. I designed the dragon head on top in a darker yellow color to be more in line with the gold, and used slope pieces and snot or studs not on top bricks to create a similar shape to the dragon head seen on top of the Chief's home in the movie. When I was originally designing this, I accidentally made it look like Jar Jar Binks, or as my stream chat suggested, Alf from the 1986 TV show. But after adding the horns on top of the head, it started to look more like a dragon. The roof is shaped using ball joints, and you're able to take it off of the building to access the interior, much like the LEGO A-frame cabin set. The Viking home has a full interior with a bedroom for Hiccup, an eating area, a living space with a nice fireplace, and also a workshop. Of course, I had to leave an Easter egg to the accidental Star Wars reference, so I put the Jar Jar Binks ear flaps on the wall as if they were a tapestry. Inside the home, I added some furniture and small details to make the building feel more lived in and represent key scenes from the film, like when Stoic and Hiccup have their very awkward talk together. I also added a light from Light My Bricks to the fireplace to bring a nice cozy vibe to the build. I know that the blacksmith and the Chief's home are separate buildings in the films, but since there's only one building in this MOC, and to add some extra detail, I added a removable window at the back of the house where Hiccup can assist Gobber in handing out and repairing weapons for the other Viking minifigures. Hiccup can also work on making a new tail for Toothless by the fire. Just outside the blacksmith shop, I made a quick turret device that Hiccup uses to capture Toothless, starting the whole story. It isn't 100% accurate, but it does fire, and I thought it deserved a place in the MOC as an important part of the franchise. Let's talk about minifigures. I went ahead and put together a variety of stubborn Viking characters. Now, I don't really have that many Viking minifigure parts. I have a few pieces from the old LEGO Vikings theme, the Viking Village set from 2023, and a few helmets or other Viking parts I've gathered during my time collecting LEGO, but I wanted the Viking population to be pretty big. So in order to make these minifigures, I sifted through my minifigure parts looking for the most Viking adjacent pieces I could. This meant lots of fantasy torsos, Jedi robes, and most importantly, weapons and tools. For these minifigures, I wanted brown, tan, black, and dark green to be the main color palette of their outfits, with a few other colors here and there. Here's the whole crew of Burke Vikings, a tough and tasteless band of warriors. I also made some of the more recognizable characters from the films. We of course have Hiccup and Astrid, Gobber, Snotlout, Fishlegs, Roughnut, Toughnut, and Stoic. For Stoic, I wanted him to feel larger than the other minifigures since he has such a large presence. That's why I designed a brick-built body, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I also gave Hiccup an outfit more accurate to his appearance in How to Train Your Dragon 1. These minifigures aren't perfect, and I'll probably end up modifying many of them going into Phase 2, but I'm happy with how they turned out for the first complete version of the MOC. Here are a few of my other favorite characters I made, and yes, each of these has their very own intense backstory and lore. If you want to hear more about their lives, let me know in the comments. The ocean was looking a little empty without the Bewilderbeast, who won't be done until September, and the Vikings needed something to help fight back against the dragons attacking Burke, so I made a Viking boat for them. The boat uses a combination of ball joints and snot bricks to create the rounded shape. I wanted the ship to have a dragon masthead like they do in the films, so I used this Ninjago helmet from some of the newer sets to put a dragon head on the bow. I added a few oars for paddling when the sail is down, and speaking of the sail, that was probably the most complicated part. I didn't have an official LEGO fabric sail that was the right size for this, so I decided to make my own by cutting out some fabric and drawing a How to Train Your Dragon style logo on the front to make it feel like it fit in the universe. I got my sister's help to make the sail, and she did a great job. I am really happy with how the boat turned out. Composition wise, it felt like the MOC was missing something on the top. There are some dragons flying around, a big Viking house, but to the right something was missing. So I used the new fern element in dark green to design some evergreen trees for the back right side of the island. These trees added a much needed balance in height composition for the build, as well as break up some of the green with the brown tree trunks. Then I used some LEGO plant elements to build a few bushes that I can move around as needed to cover various parts of the MOC. And there we have it. Burke is 99% complete. The last thing to do is set up some minifigures and dragons in an epic battle from the first How to Train Your Dragon film. But I'm gonna wait until next week's mid-series finale to set up the full display of dragons, minifigures, and action. If there's anything you want to see me add to the MOC before the mid-series finale, let me know down in the comments. And if not, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you're ready for the Phase 1 finale coming out in 1 week. If you enjoyed the video, leaving a like helps me out a bunch, and let me know if you're excited for the finale down below. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's always a beautiful day in the Brickstorm.